Peace and love, soul group. Peace and love. It's Derek Dunlap, and I'm back with this video. And as you guys and girls in our soul group has you can sense that I haven't been doing as much work on the platform as I used to. I don't go live as much as I used to. As a matter of fact, just to be 100% honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, that's, I just try to tell it like it is. I just really don't enjoy being on social media like I once did. And I had to really take a step back for myself. And I never even shared this with the soul group. And I had to reevaluate, was it my drive, my will, and my desire to set up these platforms? I got 4 platforms. And is it my will and my desire? Why am I doing this? And I know, our goal here on I'm Conscious Now What is to raise the level of consciousness one soul at a time. But one thing that I noticed in me is, and I just got to I had to be honest with myself. So that's why I'm sharing this with you guys, is my addiction for the internet. You know what I mean? I found myself just watching all kinds of conscious videos day in and day out. I get hundreds and hundreds of emails from people. I get hundreds and hundreds of inboxes from people. And I just found myself being just, and I'm going to use the word that a lot of you don't like, addicted to the internet. And it got to the point where I would wake up at sunrise and do my little stuff around the house, and from probably 9 a.m. to at least 8:40, because I go to bed at 9 o'clock. 8:40, I'm on the internet. And so I've been dealing with this for like months. And you guys notice gradually my live streams just start kind of going down, because I just start feeling like I was obligated to be there. You know what I mean? Instead of like just showing up because this is something that, that's like I wanted to do. I just felt like, oh shit, I'm obligated. I got to go live, And this video just popped up. I actually meditate. I've been meditating and just asking for clarity. What happened to my drive doing these videos? These live. What happened to my drive? What's going on with me? I know I'm changing, right? And does this still serve me? I love you guys. I love my groups. I worked hard. We worked hard to collectively to put this together. We gathering. People are making progress. So I had to really, really go into myself and, what is the problem? Why do I feel so bad while I'm doing these live streams and afterwards, right? And, that's why I love the universe and I love collective consciousness. I saw this video, right? I didn't watch all of it, but I knew I had to share this video with the soul group and all over all of my other platforms. And I want to invite you, if you got 18 minutes, just to watch this video, because this video here explains everything that I've been going through, trying to figure out, is it something wrong with me? Do I really want to do this? It was really, I had all of these questions because, as you guys know, I always go by how I feel. Not what my mouth say or what they say in the group or the chat or what you say or my mama say or my wife say. I go by how I feel, and it just wasn't feeling good to me anymore to do videos and go live, and I didn't have the answer. So I want to invite you to watch this video with me. I'm not gonna say anything, all right? And I will put the original link to this video in the description box, okay? So thank you for being here. This is just something spontaneous, and this will explain why Derek Dunlap, myself, why I, had kind of lost my will and desire to even be here, right? All right, so let's get into this video. And thank you once again for being here.
You know, and it's me, it's Mark, it's the, Kevin Systrom at Instagram, it's all of these people, understood this consciously, and we did it anyway.
That culture is missing here. So part of what we're trying to do to achieve those goals is like take really big, audacious points of view on the world and then train ourselves to be patient. And it's really, really hard. The entire society is set up to not be patient anymore. Consumer internet businesses are about exploiting psychology. And that is one where you want to fail fast because, people are unpredictable. And so we want to psychologically figure out how to manipulate you as fast as possible and then give you back that dopamine hit. We did that brilliantly at Facebook. Instagram has done it. WhatsApp has done it. Snapchat has done it. Twitter has done it. So there are great examples. WeChat is doing it. There are great examples of failing fast is the right path to exploiting psychology of mass populations of people. I feel tremendous guilt. I think we all knew in the back of our minds, even though we feigned this whole line of like, there probably aren't any really bad unintended consequences. I think in the back, deep recesses of our minds, we kind of knew something bad could happen. But I think the way we defined it was not like this.
Turn it off. That's what I would say. It's hard for young people now because they're hooked. They're addicted. If you don't think you're addicted, and I'm talking about anyone, from the highest to the lowest, if you don't think you're addicted, then see if you can turn it off for a week. It got quiet in here, didn't it? Didn't it get real quiet? It's a tool, so we should use it. God has blessed us with free will. Now it's free will magnified, free will on steroids. You're free to go in any direction you want. It will allow you, and it's not the enemy. It's just it's just a.
You love that smart TV.
The enemy. It's just a reflection of our own free will. And we all want to be liked, but now we want to be liked by 16 million. And will now some of us do anything to be liked? We used to do anything to be liked, but it was by the person in front of you. Now it's to be liked by 16 million people that you don't know. We have to ask ourselves, what is the long-term, if not the short-term effect of too much information?
So the context was I was at Stanford and the dean asked me to speak to the MBA students. And in it, what I was talking about was, the question was, what do you think the long-term effects of social media in general are? And unfortunately what happened was, I think it's easy to characterize what I said just as a Facebook specific thing because I worked there and I was a key part of growing it. The reality of what I was...
Explain what you said at the time.
So what I said was, I think the tools that have been created today are starting to erode the social fabric of how society works. And what I meant by that is the following thing. Today we live in a world now where it is easy to confuse truth and popularity. And you can use money to amplify whatever you believe and get people to believe that what is popular is now truthful and what is not popular may not be truthful. Joe and I, for example, we've been on the other side of climate for a long time, right? And the reality is now I can take money and I can use that through all of these social media systems that exist to hundreds of millions of people, and I can convince all of Joe's friends and everybody like him of my opinion in very subtle and small ways. And he can do the same to me. We can do that about vaccines. We can do that about gay rights. We can do that about bathroom laws. We can do that about Roy Moore. And so I think the question we have to ask ourselves is, how do we live in a world where this is now possible? And
so it was about that, but just so I understand, was it because I read and watched parts of what you were talking about. Part of it seemed to me about the ability to pay to manipulate people's thoughts. The other seemed to me to be this sort of ADD society with which this sort of liking and everything else has created this sort of feedback loop that you compared to drugs?
We know for a fact that what all of these systems do, every single one, is it exploits our own natural tendencies in human beings to get and want feedback. And that feedback, chemically speaking, is the release of dopamine in your brain. And so what these feedback loops do, and they exist everywhere, in Call of Duty, in other video games, in social networking sites, they get you to react.
When Facebook was getting going, I had these people who would come up to me and they would say, you know, I'm not on social media. And I would say, okay, you know, you will be. And then they would say, no, I value my real life interactions. I value the moment. I value presence, and I value intimacy. And I would say, well, you're a conscientious objector. That's okay. You don't have to participate, but you know, we'll get you eventually. and like, I don't know if I really understood the consequences of what I was saying, because the unintended consequences of a network when it grows to 1 billion or 2 billion people, and it literally changes your relationship with society, with each other, with it probably interferes with productivity in weird ways. God only knows what it's doing to our children's brains. You know, if the thought process that went into building these applications, Facebook being the first of them to really understand it, that thought process was all about how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible. And that means that we need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. And that's going to get you to contribute more content, and that's going to get you, you know, more likes and comments. I mean, it's a social validation feedback loop that it's like it's exactly the kind of thing that a hacker like myself would come up with, because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology.
It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works. That is truly where we are. And I would encourage all of you, as the future leaders of the world, to really internalize how important this is. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. And it's not an American problem. This is not about Russian ads.
It's global.
This is a global problem. So we're in a really bad state of affairs right now, in my opinion. It is eroding the core foundations of how people behave by and between each other. And I don't have a good solution. You know, my solution is I just don't use these tools anymore. I haven't for years. It's created huge tension with my friends, huge tensions in my social circles. If you look at, like, you know, my Facebook feed, I've posted maybe 2 times in 7 years.
Wow.
3 times, 5 times. It's less than 10. And it's weird. I guess I kind of just innately didn't want to get programmed. And so I just tuned it out. But I didn't confront it. And now to see what's happening, it really bums me out. Like, think about, like, there were these examples where there was a hoax in WhatsApp where in some, like, village in India, people were, like, afraid that their kids were going to get kidnapped, etc. And then there were these lynchings that happened as a result, where people were, like, vigilante running around. They think they found the person, and I mean, seriously? Like, that's what we're dealing with. You know, imagine, like, when you take that to the extreme, where bad actors can now manipulate large swaths of people to do anything you want. It's a really, really bad state of affairs. And we compound the problem, right? We curate our lives around this perceived sense of perfection because we get rewarded in these short-term signals, hearts, likes, thumbs up, and we conflate that with value and we conflate it with truth. And instead what it really is fake, brittle popularity that's short-term and that leaves you even more, and admit it, vacant and empty before you did it. Because then it forces you into this vicious cycle where you're like, what's the next thing I need to do now? Because I need it back. Think about that compounded by 2 billion people. And then think about how people react then to the perceptions of others. It's really bad. So you're training your brain here, whether you think it or not, whether you know it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not. Acknowledge that these things where you're spending hours a day are rewiring your psychology and physiology in a way that now you have to use to go and figure out how to be productive in the commercial world. So if you don't change this, you are going to get the same behaviors over here. Change this. There's a reason why Steve Jobs was like anti-social media. I am telling you I'm not on these fucking apps. I'm not him by any stretch of the imagination. But I am proactively trying to rewire my brain chemistry to not be short-term focused. I'm telling you they're linked. And I think that if you get too desensitized and you need it over and over and over again, then you become actually detached from the world in which you live.
You become callous, you become crude.
And you live in front of your screen.
But Chamath, let me ask you this, because the thing that I've been so concerned about is Facebook just announcing that you're going to be having some app that you can use when you're 7 to 13. I mean, it's one thing for us to be doing this, but to be hooking your kids on something that you're describing as a dopamine
shit
fix.
ain't good, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
crazy.
So look, I think in the case of Facebook specifically, I think they have probably done more than any other company, quite honestly, to try to fix it because of all of the companies, and I've seen them all up close. They're the most, frankly, to be very blunt and honest, the best run and the most technically sophisticated.
But they're also emailing me if I haven't logged onto Facebook for a while saying, hey, did you see the post from so-and-so? Did you see the post from so?
Let's get these commercials out.
Hydro moisture.
Apologize. Can't even get around all of the monetization. The sponsors got to make their money.
For a while saying, hey, did you see the post from so-and-so? Did you see the post from so-and-so? Trying to lure you back in. And again, we can make those decisions as adults, but as children, that is a different... Well,
I think the product, and I don't know it quite honestly in as much detail as I should, but I think the way that that product works, because of privacy laws in the United States, you actually have to get parental permission. The point, though, is, and what you're bringing up is, I think, is the most important thing. We all have never taken a step back and actually asked ourselves, how should we be interacting with these things now, 7 years into it? And what should we be expecting of the internet at large? Look, the reality may be the entire business model of the internet may be fundamentally somewhat broken, right? Because we allow ourselves to get interacted with in ways where we don't necessarily control the medium or the messenger.
And we are not putting up any barriers to ever give yourself any downtime from that either.
Exactly. And so it may mean that we all collectively need to figure out, not just individuals, but also the companies, also governments, quite honestly, how different business models need to exist so that we can actually divorce ourselves from how this stuff is working.
So what goes on?
Tonight here, a warning about Facebook and what some believe it's doing to kids. The warning comes from two of the company's earliest executives. Carter Evans is following this.
We kind of knew something bad could happen.
Chamath Palihapitiya, a former Facebook executive once in charge of user growth, now says he has tremendous guilt about the social network he helped build.
We have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works.
And it's influencing the next generation. Studies show 92% of teens go online daily, and 1 in 5 young people regularly wake up in the night to send or check messages on social media.
People need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. Bad actors can now manipulate large swaths of people to do anything you want.
He's not the only social media executive blowing the whistle. Former Facebook President Sean Parker recently said the initial goal was to get people hooked.
You're exploiting a vulnerability in...
Cool. So this is just another, they're looping it. I'll put the original link to this video in the description box for anybody that, you know, wants to go watch this video again. Now, just let me add to this and I'm going to let you guys go. I'm not going to keep you for a long time. First, let me just say this. I don't want you guys to take this like, you know, I'm just going to drop off the face of the earth and just detach from all of the relationships that we built using this technology. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying it doesn't feel good to be surrounded by all of these different, all of this shit in my face. My router's right here. I got the computer right here. I'm very, very sensitive to energy. And I'll just say for myself, I was addicted to this. You know? I was addicted to the internet. All kind of conscious videos for the last year and a half or so. Live stream every Sunday and Wednesday like it was clockwork. And I had to, you know, watch all of these different videos and it was just too much. And I'm going to tell you what happened to me. I'm going to tell you what changed me. The most organic thing that ever happened. And you guys been hearing me say this for a while. Organic ascension. You know, organic ascension is not this fucking internet. It's not. I told you guys and girls, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, might have been 2 weeks ago, I did some energy work on my best friend, my dog, right? And the energy work that I did on him prolonged his life until yesterday. I lost my best friend yesterday. And, you know, yeah, he was my best friend, you know. And I selfishly miss him because I know where he is. I know we never die. And but I just miss his companionship. And I'm going to tell you, that dog, in the 4 months that I did 24 hours a day hospice with this dog has taught me more in 4 months than I've ever learned from any human being on this planet, including my parents and my grandmother that raised me. I'm going to tell you what this dog taught me. This dog taught me unconditional love. And I'm going to tell you why. And some of you get this already and some of you don't. The only thing this dog did for 7 years is just love me. I didn't have to get this dog any money. I didn't have to buy this dog fancy clothes. I didn't have to fucking celebrate Christmas or Easter or none of that shit. All this dog wanted from me was just to exchange love. He loved my energy and I loved his energy. And I'm telling you, I was so fucking obligated with this fucking internet shit that my best friend, I would have to put him in a little kennel, you know, so I could do these videos because he would be right here. You know, I would have to like put him in a prison. And I lost him. I lost him. I lost him yesterday. I watched him take his last breath. I watched his spirit leave his body. Because I didn't have enough organic love, you know, to keep doing that energy work. I was too overwhelmed by what the fuck I had to do on the internet. And that dog showed me unconditional love. Up until the time he took his last breath, his tail was wagging because I kept talking to him in his ear. And his tail was just wagging. He was conscious. And when he stopped breathing, his tail slowed down. And he took one. His spirit shot right out of the body. So what I'm trying to say, you know, I don't tell anyone what to do. I don't violate anybody's free will. We're missing the life on this artificial stuff. We're missing that organic interactions with each other because we always got a fucking screen in front of our face, and we're always texting, and this instant gratification shit is meaningless. You cannot feel my energy the way we're supposed to be exchanging energy, because this technology is sucking up all of the consciousness. It's a tool, but it's controlling us. So that's the problem. Now, what's the solution, right? Here's the solution, because I don't always like to just talk about the problems. I like to talk about the solution. The solution is this. I've acquired some land. Another good friend of mine has acquired some land. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to do this, right? And I told you this in the beginning of I'm Conscious Now What. I told you the website, our own platform, because I got tired of fuckbook and YouTube. We're going to be inviting our soul group out to this land, and we're just going to be fellowshipping live, man, without this shit. We're going to come together on this land. We got fresh water. We got acres and acres and acres of land. We're going to have the animals there. We're just going to go back to the way that we used to do it. Exchange our consciousness and our energy amongst each other. It's in the working right now. I got off the phone with a great friend of mine yesterday. We got the land. I told you we was going to do it. It's just a matter of time. So I wanted you to hear this video, because this is exactly why, you know, I got all this wood and shit on the microphone, thinking, why doesn't this feel good? Why every time I go live or, you know, get in front of this, I don't feel good? I know why now. I know why now. So when you don't see me as often as you used to see me, it's not you. It's not my lack of my will or my desire or my drive. It's not that I don't have anything. It's just the burden of getting on this addictive technology. Because when I get on, when I log into this platform, messages, Skype, and you should see me. It's crazy. I have to turn my phone off. Because it's getting to the point where it's like a tether. You know what I mean? And, you know, you just have to admit it. Anyone that's being honest with themselves, this shit is not natural. It's not. And it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. So I say that to say this. I love you guys. I love you guys. And I know how to share love, and I know how to accept love. And I just miss that old organic love that we once used to share before we had all of this shit, man. You know, some of you celebrate the holiday. Just be conscious of when you gather as a family, how many people, everybody's at the table, and how many, I don't even have my cell phone in a whole nother room turned off. You watch and see how many people got a cell phone up to their face at the dinner table or on the internet. This shit is destroying the way that we connect together. It's destroying, it's separating us. It's keeping us in duality. You heard some of these guys on this video. These guys help build Facebook, and they telling you, you know, they telling you this shit is fucking y'all up, and we feel bad about it. It's giving your brain a false sense of rewards. Everybody's online trying to build these massive broadcasting stations for the rewards. And I'm not saying because I wanted I'm Conscious Now What. I told you guys when I first started this channel, in my mind, this channel was going to be like huge. You know what I mean? Remember me telling you that? And this is, I'm Conscious Now What is just, it's a very powerful, strong, small group of, our soul group. My favorite channel out of all of them. I'm Conscious Now What. But at the same time, this shit is addictive. So I love you guys, and I just wanted to drop this video on you for you to watch for yourselves. And you know, you don't have to keep it real with me, you don't have to keep it real with our soul group, but I will ask you, to go into your heart space and keep it real with yourself and ask yourself the question, am I addicted to this? See, this shit, we getting past alcohol. We used to think crack was bad. You guys remember that? Crack, heroin, they legalizing marijuana. Listen, that's just the smoke screen to what's really going on. All of us, a lot, I can't speak for everybody, but I know some people live on the fucking internet. We're addicts. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going into my own rehab, my own organic rehab. I got everything I need right in this home where I am. I got beautiful animals. I got so much to do than to be sitting in front of a computer watching, you know, fake ass prophets and stuff and people's, you know, perspectives. And, you know, let's just live our lives and let's gather together like we used to. We got the land. I know some beautiful people that have land. Let's just throw retreats. 40 or 50 of us fly in, light the bonfire, you know what I mean? And just connect. We don't need this. They want us to think that we need this. They want to make this the way that we connect. You see what I'm saying? You got the cryptocurrency coming, Bitcoin, you got all this shit coming. They want to make this the way that we connect. You heard the guy. They want our consciousness. They want us to focus on a fucking screen. I'm talking to a fucking screen right now. There's none of you guys are even around me. I can't feel any of you guys. You know what I mean? I had somebody on the live stream say, you know, Derek, can tell me, what do you feel from me? And I'm going to keep it. If you watch that live stream, I'm going to be honest. I can't feel shit. I can't feel nothing through this. I'm numb. Now, if you was here, I could feel your energy. I can't feel through this shit, man. All of these waves going through me. Anyway, that's my ramble. I love you guys. You'll be hearing from me. I'm not going to disappear, but, you know, just know I'm going into detox. I got a lot of beautiful people, a lot of beautiful animals in my life, and I'm going to be spending a lot more time with them. Because I lost one yesterday, and you never know until you lose them how important they were. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from that dog. That dog taught me love. Unconditional love. And I love you. And I'm learning how to love. That love that cast out. You see me smiling, man. That dog, man. Man. Eli Edward. Oh, that dog taught me love. That dog loved me to his death, till he took his last breath. That dog loved me. Compare it. Compare that to what you call love. Peace.